Okay, morning.
Unfortunately, we have some technical hitch there.
Let
me react to that as we move away from the question of the existence of God.
No, the question here we are discussing is the issue of why bad things happen, why there is suffering in the world. And I'll be very, very clear. You know, there is Christians are actually also asking, why are we suffering when there is a God?
So are Muslims, so are Hindus, so is everyone.
So is everyone asking. And the answer is that there is no relationship between suffering and first any God, because God does not exist. But it's a good question for a religious person to ask, because most of the pastors and priests and all these people come and tell you that, you know, and this is their proposal, normally what they say in churches and in mosques and everything, that you're suffering, don't worry, come to God. God is going to help you to get you out of this situation. We've seen this in Kenya.
And there are those who argue. There are those who argue that he helped them through get out of these situations.
Look,
to be fair,
yeah, that is what normally the religious people present. That, you know, once you turn to this God idea, all your problems are going to be solved. And you know, and that is why religious pastors have realized that especially in countries such as Kenya, third world countries, where we have a lot of poverty, the best business to do is to be a pastor, is to be a religious leader, because it is very easy to persuade people that when they turn to God, their lives is going to change around, especially when they are poor, especially when they are not able to, the government is not working, there is no social security for people. But let me tell you something.
At the same time, this quite number of people find solace and peace within these religions.
Yes, you see, but yeah, you know, you find peace in religion, which is okay. In fact, let me tell you, there are so many Kenyans today who feel that just by the mere fact of believing in a God, they feel that there's a big brother watching. But I think
I believe as of now we have exhausted on that question whether God exists or not.
I was not able to respond to
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Okay, 30 seconds. So I believe that there are some people who have a basic knowledge of science who are listening to this. And he said that fossils are proof of evolution. Fossils are not proof of anything. When you pick up a bone and you know, you start making assumptions of it, and you start using carbon dating, for example, carbon dating is very erroneous, and it has been proven. It's just because you see it in chemistry, it doesn't mean that...
we have quite exhausted on the question of the existence of God. Of course, because of time, we will have such conversations as time unfolds.
Yeah.
Abdulrahman, in the 21st century, at a time when technology headlines almost everything, at a time when new inventions and new ways of lives are being adopted, what is the role of religion in the 21st century? And perhaps does it even stand a chance in this century?
You know, religion, and I'll come back to my former statement that religion, if it's the true religion, is very crucial at this age and time. And you find that Islam which I am proposing, has experienced a magnanimous amount, you know, of upsurge in this age of scientific discovery and, you know, technological advance. We have Islam, you know, being the fastest growing religion in this time and age. And I can give you a reason why that is. And I really regret why we don't have a Christian on the platform today.
We invited them. Yes, it's unfortunate that today is Sunday.
But if you let me explain, you would find that Islam, when you look at a religion, you have to look at, number one, the thing that is most important to determining what religion is right, is relevance. It has to be relevant. It has to answer the questions of our society.
Not to be specific and particular.
Yes.
So do all religions claim.
But all religions do not do that. Because, for example, if you look at the Christianity, which is also one of the big religions on the side of Islam, if you look at Christianity, you look at the Bible, and the Bible has no argument completely. It has complete absence of the argument of proposing that God exists. It doesn't have that argument. What it has are arguments, for example, in
the Bible
Exodus.
That
Exodus, it does. But I'm just trying to put this point forward. Exodus chapter 20, verse 3, the first commandment you find, thou shalt not have any other deities besides me. You look at the Shema in Deuteronomy 6:4, and you look at Jesus echoing the same in Mark chapter 12, verse 29. And you find that the issue at the time was polytheism and not atheism. So since atheism was not a threat, Christianity did not address this. But Islam has addressed everything. So that's why we say that we put the Quran to the litmus test.
It's good that you are coming to a point I was coming to a little bit later. You specifically mentioned Islam, and you say you are an expert, of course, of comparative religion, a Muslim by faith. How do you convince people, Abdulrahman, that Islam, as many say, is a religion of peace, when in Somalia we have Al-Shabaab, in Nigeria, Boko Haram, ISIS in Middle East, terror groups who claim they are standing in for the authentic version of Islam?
You know, it is very funny how many people have still not understood the concept of what is going on. And if we look at, for example, Kenya as a country, you know, I believe that people are just being hypocritical. If we look at Kenya as a country, we see that if I ask you, for example, look at the country, are the people generally good or bad people in Kenya? We would all agree that Kenyans are good people. But we still have, you know, remand prisons. Why do we have prisons in Kenya if the people are good? It means that there are some people who tend to break laws and get out of the arms.
But unfortunately, in Islam, it seems as though the bad ones are the ones who are headlining everything. Yeah, they're the ones who say we are advocating for Islam.
Courtesy of the media and all that. But we find that in every society there is black sheep. And we are not, we are saying that Muslims are the ones who are suffering the most out of this.
Let me get Harrison to the conversation.
I'll just try and finish up with one sentence that, you know, Muslims are the people who are suffering most out of these attacks, and we're trying to counter it as much as we can to counter the Al-Shabaab narrative and the Boko Haram, who are bombing mosques, in fact. And when you look at Christianity as well, it's not safe from this, because there is the Lord Resistance Army.
Okay, it's unfortunate that we don't have someone to argue. That's why I didn't make the point.